You may begin.
Imagine, there's a man weighing nearly 300 pounds. And this man goes and rams his body at full speed into another man who is very large in the 300-pound range. They smack their helmets together, and a loud cracking sound is heard throughout the stadium. One player pops up, jogs back to his home. The other, he takes a bit longer. His vision is blurry and even has some blackouts at points. He's woozy, dizzy, and his head is throbbing. Well, what happens now? Usually, he'll get up with the assistance of teammates, he'll get a pat on the butt, and he'll go right back into the game. This happens every Sunday, thousands of times, as well as in practices every day. And no one thinks anything of it. It's a violent sport, some people might say. It happens. No. It is time that we started to learn the effects of things that happen like this. And I'm not just saying that we should keep players from playing. We need to inform people and let them know of the damages that can be done. I'm going to introduce, or just press down, right?
Yep.
It's not working.
Okay. Hang on 1 second. We'll get it. Oh, there you go. You got it.
Okay. I'm going to introduce today CTE. CTE stands for Chronic Traumatic Encephalopathy. And it's a brain disease that is progressive from having many concussions over a period of time. It is found in mostly athletes, usually football players, but it is also found in boxers, hockey players, and soccer players. Here's another one. You can see the damage. Clearly, they're clear, and then it gets darker as you see the damage done. In 2015, there were 199 concussions, and that is not including the ones that aren't reported. The ones that happen every day at practice, where a player might hit their head and they get dizzy or they may vomit, but they keep playing. Such as a player named DJ Fluker. He got a concussion during practice, and then 5 days later, despite his concussion history, he was cleared to play in the game, and he got another one within 5 days. Repeated concussions does more than keep your favorite player from playing or lessen your team's chances of winning a game. It's important that we know what is happening to these people. They are humans, not battering rams. And we as a society sometimes put pressure on a lot of these athletes to perform through injury or simply keep going, even though the effects of it may change their lives forever. I'd like to read a quote from a football player. He was speaking about a player on his team, the Chiefs, Matt Castle. He said, "We are athletes, we are not gladiators. This is not a Roman Colosseum. There are long-lasting ramifications to the game we play, long-lasting ramifications to the game. I've already kind of come to this understanding. I probably won't live as long because I play the game, and that's okay. That's the choice I've made. That's a choice all of us have made. But when you cheer somebody getting knocked out, I don't care who it is, and it just so happened to be Matt Caskell, it's sickening." But is it really okay? Should they really be allowed to accept this? I'll now explain what CTE does physically and mentally to you. Some physical aspects are irritability, speech and language difficulties, aggression, and motor impairment, meaning you lose your ability to walk or use of arms and things of that nature. Trouble swallowing, vision and focusing problems, trouble with sense of smell and dementia, not including the mental aspects, including difficulty thinking, impulsive behavior, depression, short-term memory loss, difficulty planning or carrying out simple tasks, substance abuse, and suicidal thoughts and behavior. This is all according to the Mayo Clinic. And somehow that is okay. I want to introduce you to a player that played for the Chiefs from 2008 to 2012. His name was Javon Belcher. On December 1st, 2012, Javon got into a heated argument with his girlfriend, and he shot her 9 times. After that, he drove to Arrowhead, and he called his head coach and the defensive coordinator to speak to them and thank them for trying to help him and get him through his tough time. And then when he heard that the police were coming, he dropped to his knees, made the sign of the cross, and he shot himself. Now, some might say that Javon was a monster and it was somehow because of the way he was raised or something like that, but he wasn't. In college, he was in an association called the Male Athletes Against Violence. He was also an active charity member. They said that when he was in college, he would call his parents every night. That doesn't sound like the same person, does it? CTE does a lot of damage to your brain. A year later, they did an autopsy and they found it in him. So we should be aware of what can happen because it's serious, and the athletes need to know not to play through that injury and that they aren't pressured to play. I hope we can smarten up and start to realize the effects that come from this. We need to step back and ponder how we can treat this going forward and how to advise others to treat it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's give a round of applause. Thank you very much. Okay. At this time, I will open up the questions for Peyton, should you have any about his topic.
Natalie?
What would you say would be a good idea for us to help someone that just hurt his head? Like, what should we do?
Well, make sure you can't completely try to make the decision for them, but make sure that they know the effects of the future harm that they could be doing to themselves in that moment, and let them know that it might not necessarily be worth it to play a game when they might have another one. So,
How can you tell if someone has a concussion?
Usually the effects are pretty visible. They'll be what you call out of themselves. They'll be dizzy, or they might have trouble remembering things like that. Thomas?
Those athletes' brains you showed up there that are suffering from CTE, what time, when were they athletes, what time? Or do you not know?
There's some recent ones and there's some old ones. Javon Belcher, his last game was in 2011 or something like that.
Doesn't it seem like a stretch to think that CTE caused him to...
Well, that may be the case, but given how he was not like that before, and knowing that CTE can cause irrational behavior. It's not a complete stretch.
Does it also cause aggression as well? Or just-
Yes.
Have you had like a lot of concussions or something like that? That's the reason why.
No, I have not, but the NFL seems to try to sweep this under the rug and try to hide this from people. And right now, there's big lawsuits between former NFL players and the NFL over this. Yes.
There are some doctors and studies showing that when you get a concussion early in life, it gives you more chance for CTE. But when you're older, the concussions don't affect your brain as much. Would you support, or do you think that's true, or do you think it's trying to soften it up a bit?
Could you repeat the question, please?
There's some doctors and professionals coming out and saying that, say you're 12 and you get a concussion, it's going to hurt you and give you more chance of CTE than if you're 20 and get a concussion, it won't affect you as much. Do you think they're just, do you support that idea, or do you think they're just trying to make it?
That could be the case, but any way you put it, if you get a concussion and you go back out and play another game, that's not going to soften anything.
Okay, anything else?
Yes.
So what do you think we can do here, like example, to solve this problem?
Simply not allow it. Like if someone has a concussion, then they should consider either taking a little time off or considering how important football is to them, or any other sport that's leads to concussions.
Anything else? All right, let's give Peyton a round of applause. Thank you very much, Peyton.